So, I mean, these games in the summer when it's super hot, I've been through many of them. They're challenging. They're much more challenging down on the field than they appear sometimes when we're up in the stands or on the sidelines. I know I'm yelling at the guys to get them pushed through it, but it was, it's a warm day. You're up 2-0. You want to control things the best you can. We would look for our opportunities in transition. We would have liked to have had more possession and kind of wind things down with the ball a little bit, but we weren't doing as good a job in the second half of connecting and at times being patient and moving the ball. I think we were too often looking for some moments to rest when we had the ball versus get ourselves through the transition into some good positions to be able to keep it and then rest and let the ball move a little bit. I thought we were resting a little bit too quick, if you will, and then the end was we were turning over the ball and then spending more time in our shell. But I thought the organization of things in the second half was better. I thought by and large we did a pretty good job. Plenty of things to build on, but 3 points as we start the second half of the season is always a positive.
Could those moments of rest have anything to do with the warm weather? Was that
Yeah, I think it's a factor. I mean, in these games as they go, when you're not the team that has to push the game, and you really are trying to protect your goal, and that's the priority. You don't need another goal to win the game. Another goal really seals the game or closes the game, but you don't really have to get another goal. I think the psychological side of it is I can take a little break in this transition, and really you need to work through those next 5 or 6 seconds to get a hold of the ball, and then you can actually find a break on the other side of that. But I think that was a little bit of where we could have got more possession when we didn't.
Greg, you see a lot of things from Giovinco, but on that second goal, you could add hustle to his list of things he did. He beat 3 defenders to get to that rebound. It seems he keeps on showing new things.
Yeah, he has it all. He's very clever of when he uses that, and it's he's efficient about how he works things. So when he sees a moment where it needs a little hustle, where he needs to throw in a bump or try to throw some body weight around, he adds that to his game. It's not something you see all the time, but he uses it at the right times when he thinks he can really make a difference in the game, or even at the end there in the final seconds of the game, he adds a little extra to try to get across to Fabinho to not allow him to play that pass forward, which buys the team another 6, 7, 8 seconds. In that little piece of effort it's so valuable for the group to then get their organization. You see he uses that throughout the game at very critical moments.
Delgado seemed to be playing the top of the midfield diamond today. What was kind of the thinking behind that, and how do you feel he did?
I thought he did a solid job. It's a lot of work. And Markey has a big engine. He's a kid. He can cover a lot of ground. He can get back. He can get forward. Part of it is to start to reestablish some of our relationships on the field. Ash and Oso, Colin and Justin a little bit, and Markey. I think he did a great job last week in New York of helping us defensively, but still having the energy and the speed to get forward into good spots. And he did last week when he scored the goal. And today he has such a big engine to help us defend a little bit deeper, but also to get out and help Josie and Sebastian in transition and things like that. So I thought he did a solid job. Again, it's a tough day to ask a kid to do a ton of running that the position requires. Michael usually does that for us, and I thought he did an admirable job.
Markey and Eric were kind of two guys that were floating around without a club after Chivas went under. What did you see in them that made you think they could come here and make a difference, starting in games?
Yeah, Markey I've known since the academy. When I was first team assistant and then overseeing the academy, I've known him for a number of years. He's always had the capacity to do an incredible amount of work on the field. He's a technical player. He's composed beyond, I think, his years in terms of around pressure, and he has very good technique. I think I honestly didn't know how he dropped to the position that he did when we were able to take him. He would have been probably the first or second guy we might have taken out of that, just knowing his potential and upside. So I thought he added a dimension to our group that he could continue to progress and grow as a player, and he's done so pretty quickly. And he already was at 19, now 20 years old, he already had 50, 60 professional matches under his belt at Chivas. He played almost all the time, and he played a couple positions, so he had some versatility. So I knew he could help us. I didn't know how quickly it would be with our group, but he stepped in and done a great job. I think he's come back also from the U20 team with a lot of confidence. He played a lot of games back-to-back there, and so he got into a good rhythm. I think he's brought that back with him. As far as Eric, obviously I've known Eric for a long time. You know, he grew up in a house with his dad was a professional player and is a very good coach. So I know what's in his head. I know how he thinks the game and how he sees the game and how he reads plays and the decisions that he makes by and large. I like players who are thinking ahead of the game, not quite as reactive. I think he's a young player still. I mean, he would have been a college senior this year, but he likewise had, 25, 30 professional games under his belt. You get him for cheap, really, at the end of the day, and you see if he can progress and help the team. And center back has been a position that's been hard hit for us in terms of injuries and guys in and out, and we've had to ask some of our young players to step up and step into roles. And I think all of them have done a solid job throughout the year.
Greg, you have a goalkeeping decision to make when Konopka comes back from his suspension. What is going to be the deciding factor in who you choose to start next week?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's for me when I came into the year, Joe was the starting goalkeeper. Joe, we didn't have a great start to the year. I don't blame Joe. He got injured at a time. Then the team hit a good run with the goalkeeper. They'd settled in with Chris. But Joe was still our first goalkeeper, right? That was established, and Chris did a great job for us during his stretch, and we now know that if we need to, we can always go to Chris. He's always there for us, and he's been sharp, But Joe was our first keeper before. Joe's opportunity came back around. He would have got it this week anyways, to be fair. And I thought he did a solid job today, and hopefully will continue to settle in as he gets more games and gets back into rhythm as well. But they're really, to me, everybody asks about a controversy. There's no controversy for us. We select the guy who we think is going to be best for us, whether it's in a stretch of games or as we go and we grow as a team.
Tim said something interesting earlier this week when he was talking about you can't go out and buy depth, but what you can do is get guys who are kind of on the periphery of the team to really step up their game, guys like Delgado and Lovitz. So it's almost as if you're getting a new player. Do you feel that those guys are stepping up?
Yeah, I thought. Just speaking of Markey, we've already talked about him, and he stepped in. And Danny, I thought in a role of left back last week, did a very good job. I've also felt over the training sessions he's felt very comfortable there, and almost can kind of see and feel him maturing a little bit through the stretch of having to fight hard to get his minutes and his role getting clearer with the team. And so I think continuing, it's important is over the course of a season is continue to bring those guys along and continue to give them opportunities over the course of the year, because you never know how things go during the season with injuries and with obviously international call-ups and different things. You need everybody across your roster, and it's important that we keep everybody progressing and growing as players, and they get opportunities to prove themselves along the way. And and it's important when they do, they step in and they do a job. And I think those guys in particular have done a great job over the last couple of weeks.
Josie Altidore, first game back with the club. What were your thoughts on his performance today?
I thought Josie did a good job. I thought he was important for us in holding up balls and us being able to play out with him. I think he and Sebastian, their relationship continues to grow as they run off of each other and look for each other, whether that's in possession actions or whether it's even more notably sometimes in transition. But I thought it's good. I mean, he's still working back to 100% fitness. We knew that. He knew that. I left him out there a little bit longer because I want him to get that fitness, because it's different running around a training field than it is to get match game fit, right? And so with the game at 2-0, I probably left him out another 10 or 15 minutes longer than maybe he really wanted. Not that he wanted to, because he probably wanted to finish the game, but I wanted to push him a little bit and give him a little extra minutes out there so that he can continue to build his engine back up. But I thought he was good. I thought he was fine. I wished he would have got a goal, because I think that's the next piece that he needs.
What's the plan for Wednesday? Is it to sort of rotate the team to give time to USL guys? What's sort of your thinking?
Yeah, the plan for Wednesday is we got to, as we just talked about, we got to bring guys along, get guys some minutes, get them sharp. We may use it again as kind of a training session for a certain amount of minutes for some of the guys, because a lot of our guys would prefer to play games than train all week. But it's a matter of managing those minutes and managing their workload over the course of the week. But the most important thing for us is the match next weekend in Columbus. It's not the match Wednesday, so we'll approach it accordingly.
How tricky are these next two kind of away fixtures, considering Columbus and New England are basically right there in the standings with you guys?
They're important matches. I mean, we don't have many away matches in the second half of the season, so our mentality is if we can go on the road and squeeze some points out of these 2 road matches and the ones that we have, then they're bonus points. But we really know we have to get results when we play at home, which is the importance of the 3 points today. It wasn't a perfect game, but it's 3 points, and the road games are opportunity for us to stymie other teams around us and maybe pick up some bonus points along the way. But for us, the second half of the season is about acquiring points at home first and foremost, and anything on the road is bonus.